All right, thank you for being here this Sunday again. When I give those talk, I think about what's the main message in the Buddha's teachings that is important to convey. And this message is not to be only remembered intellectually, it's not only to be repeated with words. It has to be lived through practice. And the term word practice is actually can be a bit misleading. So I would like to clarify it. I'm looking at the phone, so other people. I would like to clarify it because it looks like training. Practice sounds like training, and it sounds like learning new mechanism, learning new automation of the mind, which is not that at all. All right. So I would even say that when the students give me some feedback and say, yeah, we are eager to learn, I'm a bit concerned because the entire process is to see directly and to not learn anything. At the beginning, you learn some words, a message, a direction, and then there is a little bit of work that is not the kind of work that you are used to do at school, at university, or at work. It's different, it's inner work. And this is when usually I talk about practice. And practice is not a repetition to force something to be there or to replace. It's not forcing your mind to be a certain way. Practice is not that. So that's why sometimes you have some kind of conflicting message from different teachers, because some teachers say, oh, no practice. And other teachers, like I say, yeah, there is a lot of practice to do and lots of effort and lots of inner work. So it looks like, okay, contradictory. Because practice might sound like learning a movement, like tennis, proper movement. I don't know. Or like, in gymnastics, you repeat until, you can do it closed eyes. It might sound like training practice, forcing the mind to have certain habit, but this is not at all like this. Practice is hearing the Dhamma, the Buddha's words, then reflecting a bit, contemplating what? How? In everything that happens through the 6 senses, meaning the 5 senses that you know, and the sixth one, which is the mind. And what kind of contemplation? So there is one key teachings of the Buddha, that is the Four Noble Truths. And you can learn them by heart. Very, very small text. Very small, 4 phrases, right? 4 phrases. And then you can know them. And because you know them, you can maybe say, okay, I'm a Buddhist. I know the Buddha's teachings. Okay, the Four Noble Truths. But it's just, first when you read them, you know them, it's mind knowledge. It has nothing to do with direct knowledge through contemplation, through practice. It's not that you force yourself to remember them until you know them by heart and say, okay, now I'm free. I know the Four Noble Truths. I've practiced remembering. No, that's not that. And actually, if you would even understand directly through wisdom these Four Noble Truths, you wouldn't be there. You would be really, you wouldn't listen to that with hope. I'm gonna explain why. Because if you would understand really the Four Noble Truths, then you would know that how to say that your world has to be completely, how to say that, torn off, or I don't know, sheared away, something like this. It will collapse. It will be destroyed. And it's hard work. Hard work. And in the Buddha's teachings, we often talk about ignorance. And ignorance is nothing else than the ignorance of the Four Noble Truths. And also, the more you progress into the stages of enlightenment, the more those truths are integrated, let's say, and completely understood. Understood not through thinking, understood through insight and through direct knowing, through direct experience. So the first Noble Truth, there is suffering. So we went through that already. There is suffering. I would say, I've noticed that if there is a little bit of suffering in your life, not that much, then you wouldn't be there. Usually we arrive to the Buddha's teachings because there is a lot of suffering, right? There is a lot of suffering in our life. There is this, I've heard that story. It was a monk who was giving a talk in a retreat center in New Zealand. And he explained how the retreat center was built and why. It was very beautiful landscapes in the middle of nowhere, and quite pleasant place to be. And he said it was a lay follower, an architect, who actually built it. And he said that 20 years before that, the architect was actually, he was going through a divorce and very hard events in his life, and he could take it no more. He was ready actually to commit suicide. Really depressed, really lots of suffering. And he said, I will just try a last thing. And he went to a vihara. So it's I don't know if it's the equivalent of a Buddhist monastery. And he entered. There was a monk at the welcome desk. And the architect said, well, I just want to die right now. Is there anything you can do for me? And the monk, very calmly, said, yes, I think we can help you with that. And then he never left, the architect never left the vihara. And then he started to practice mindfulness, meditation, insight practice, Buddha's teachings. And little by little, okay, his depression left. And he never quit, he never left the practice. And then he decided to build something, build that meditation center in order to give back and to help other people. This is how he entered. And most of the time, suffering is the entrance door for the Buddha's teachings. Because we have tried it all. We've tried to get rid of it. It's not possible. To avoid the situation which makes us suffer, trying to numb our minds or to distract ourselves from that suffering. And for some, it looks like this suffering is kind of fundamental background of life, which is actually true. But this, like, since I'm born, there is this suffering. It's kind of inherent suffering in everything I do. It's actually wisdom. So their suffering is not that difficult to contemplate, actually. It's not actually difficult. And look how it's phrased. It's phrased, there is suffering. So there is nothing personal. It feels very personal, but because there is this teaching of not self, then it's phrased like this. And the practice, so the contemplation is to look at it in our own life, but you can also extend to the life of others, realizing that it's a universal truth. It's not only for you, but for everyone around you as well, in different intensity, different format. And it's not only unpleasant feelings. First noble truth is not that difficult to integrate and to look at in our experience. The second noble truth, this is the one. This is the one which usually is not that looked at carefully. And I've realized also by listening to any kind of a large palette of Dharma nowadays, that this second noble truth is actually a bit kind of erased from the teachings, or rephrased somehow, because it looks like we do not want to make people, you don't want them to be, to feel not at ease at all. We don't want them to feel bad about themselves, so we do not talk about it. We do not talk about the origin of suffering, or maybe because those who actually guide people, they haven't looked at it carefully into themselves. And this second noble truth is the origin of suffering, and this is craving. Craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving to be. Or in the same coin is craving for non-existence, wanting to not be. Craving for existence, craving to be. We do not hear that very much nowadays. I'm wondering why. We don't want maybe to hurt people's feelings, right? The more I talk about it, the less people are actually listening. All right? Because you do not want to look at that. And this is where there is practice, contemplation. Okay, when there is suffering, there is craving. Craving for sensual pleasures. All right, this is what nowadays everything is about, actually. How to customize your life, what choices to make in order to have more pleasures. Enjoying life, delighting in life. You organize your life around that. If you closely look, say, okay, craving, it's kind of a big word. Okay, maybe I'm not. Craving that much. Well, look. It becomes very obvious when you go to a meditation retreat, actually. Noble silence, you cannot speak. For days. You cannot choose your own food. You cannot choose your schedule. You are removed from all your devices. So you can no longer actually use your senses as you are used to do. And then you realize, how much time you spend just picking your food so that it's okay, it feels tasty. The smells also, what you hear, listen to, what you read, how you entertain your mind, and so on. What you watch, what you plan seeing. So for a few days, few weeks, maybe no plans, just sitting there, walking, meditation, then you realize, oh, craving for sensual pleasures becomes quite obvious. You would do anything to escape. All right, but we are in daily life. We have our job, our responsibilities, and how to contemplate that. Well, do the practice, mindfulness practice, through daily life, how I describe to do it, and sitting meditation, walking meditation, standing meditation, lying down meditation, and at some point it will arise. The trying to convince yourselves that it's not dangerous to do this or that, to have a break and read something, to have a break and look at the news, to have a break and enjoy something. The internal talk, internal discussion with yourself will arise in sitting meditation. When you want to rise, if you've set the time for 1 hour, and then you say, okay, I'd rather sit on the couch for a while and write an email to to talk about the practice. Yeah. There is this very nice, informative, important video that I made, which is the gratification, danger, and escape of sensual pleasures. It's something like maybe 10 to 20 minutes. It's short, and you can find it on the YouTube channel, Nibbana Unplugged. It has something like 2 views. 2 views. I told you this is not something people want to watch. You don't want to know, because you live only through getting gratification from the senses. All right? So this craving for sensual pleasures, it's still, we can still quite understand and say, oh yeah, of course. But how is it a danger? And okay, this I can dive, or you can watch the video I'm talking about. So far so good. Second noble truth. First craving for sensual pleasures. This we can still relate a bit, right? That yes, we are chasing for the good stuff, the good things to see, to enjoy, the nice vacation, the nice sightseeing, the nice music to listen to, and so on. And yeah, anywhere there is delight on something, just pay attention, because this is when there is delight that we want it to stay that way, that we want to reproduce it, and that we start to proliferate in the mind in order to have it again. The second types of cravings, craving to be, craving for existence. This is not easy to describe, and I'm afraid that if I put some words around it, that if you are not used to contemplation, then you might stick to those words instead of realizing for yourself. The craving to be or craving for existence, of course, is the craving to stay alive, but it's any kind of desire to express oneself, one's opinions, to be defined by something, to be defined by some characteristic. It can be positive or negative, all right? No, I'm never good enough, right? It's not only being defined or determined by some characteristics. It's a bit more like than that. There is the affirmation and the desire to affirm it, that it's true somehow, to kind of impose or show, to make solid an identity. And it has an implication, because in this desire, wanting to keep existing, to renew yourself over and over again, most of the time, well, through thinking, through speaking, to also creating, fabricating your own identity. Because this is the mechanism which actually will propel you into a renewed existence, next rebirth. The craving to be, to make your way where you want to have this or that. It doesn't have to be material things, right? The difficulty to keep silent, to not reply, to not express our opinions. Some people are actually always in the background, not wanting to speak up. So this is the craving. I would say this is the counterpart, craving for non-existence. Oh, I wish nobody would actually see me. If I could be completely, if I don't have to intervene, then I would feel much better. If I don't have to speak, then I would feel much better. If nobody, I would sit in the background so nobody can see me. do not have to do anything. Right. Craving for non-existence is usually mostly described through depression, when you just want to lie in bed and just do nothing and do not want to face life and reality and responsibilities. And it's so hard then to live and even to wake up, and lots of crying. So when there is suffering, one has to look at where is craving. And you see, it starts to... This second noble truth, we talk about, instead of talking about craving for sensual desires and for craving for existence and non-existence, we use the term attachment usually. All right, attachment. It sounds much less much less, I don't know, negative connotation. Craving for existence, oh my God. It sounds very philosophical. But we really have to look at the ground of our existence. Why are we born in the first place? This is because we are born that there is suffering. And you see, the Four Noble Truths is actually one key teaching of the Buddha. And he taught that to any kind of people, not only monks. And he doesn't talk about, happiness, or, yes, of course, somehow there is liberation of mind and happiness, but this is not how he decided to put his teachings to the world. One, there is suffering. Two, the origin of suffering is craving for sensual desires for existence and for non-existence. This is quite harsh. And this is why I think that nowadays this is kind of... It's like we try to put flowers around that. Flowers around that. So we change the word. We try to not understand what really is the meaning of it. Or let's say, yeah, we don't talk much about it. Maybe because we do not understand for ourselves, because we do not have contemplated to the depth. So you can have to contemplate that. I would say that every time you feel contracted in the heart, tense, wanting to react, then look at these three kinds of craving. Say, okay, what's the origin? Do not make it that complicated. It should be quite obvious, actually. You don't have to make lots of psychology. And this is when you have to be very, very honest. Right? Of course, you are going to to find a fault in others, right? You are going to try to blame others for their behavior rather than look at your own desire to be. And once we have really look at those two first noble truths, and in many examples in your life, you say, okay, now I've started to notice, yes, craving for sensual pleasures and craving for existence. Now I start to have a hint around that. I've stopped look at the origin of my problems and suffering and satisfactoriness outside. I looked inside. That doesn't mean that we have to allow bad behavior to. That doesn't mean that we can't get away from people who hurt us. This is not what I'm saying. But we have to look at those things, and then when you say, okay, yeah, I see now the pattern. I've seen it 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Yes, there is some truth in it. So we start to have confidence in these two noble truths. And then we look at the third one. All right, the third one is very simple. With the cessation of craving, there is the cessation of suffering. So very simply, if this craving ceases, suffering ceases. All right, so in our contemplation, once we have spotted this craving, and usually when we start to be mindful, aware of it, like looking at it with the eye of the Dharma, let's say, it usually vanishes, and with it, the suffering. So with the abandonment of craving, there is a cessation of suffering, right? And then the third noble truth is the way leading to the cessation of craving, and this is the Noble Eightfold Path. And the dimension of this Four Noble Truths the extra dimension is that this ceasing of craving is permanent. You can really uproot, cut off completely craving, and this is full enlightenment, Arahantship. When the path, let's say, is over, then all kinds of craving have been removed from the heart. Craving for sensual desire is gone. Craving for existence, gone. Craving for non-existence, gone. Suffering, gone. There is often this misunderstanding because even at arahantship, full enlightenment, there is still the body, and so painful feelings will still be there. Good feelings will still be there. So full enlightenment is not that you're gonna erase completely the disagreeable feelings. So don't idealize it too much. As long as there is the physical body and also the mind, painful feelings due to the mind. Painful feelings will still arise due to past karma. But there will be understanding, full understanding. All right, so it's possible that this craving is completely uprooted through the development of the Noble Eightfold Path, going through the 4 stages of enlightenment. Each stage is actually uproot some fetters. Some fetters to which bound us to samsara, the cycle of rebirth. And another obstacle that we can put on ourselves. Okay, the Buddha's teachings, it's 2,500 years ago. Maybe it was possible in the past to reach full enlightenment, nibbana. But now reality is different. And I'm not a monk, I'm not a nun, and I do not have 20 hours a day to practice, contemplate, and isolate myself from the world. So, yeah, maybe he said that a long time ago, but now, yeah, I have doubt that it can be applied and useful for me. So you can meditate here and there, but really not going through this kind of contemplation. But you will find people in this world who are going to tell you it's hard to do nowadays, but it's still possible. This is still a living path. And the instructions are not that complicated. Usually when you are not that, when you lack motivation, when you have doubt, which is normal at the beginning, doubt about those 4 truths will actually be there until our first stage of enlightenment, stream entry. This doubt about the Buddha's teachings is removed as stream entry, never coming back. Oh damn, he was so damn right. This is the kind of exclamation you can have afterwards. And so this lack of motivation is that usually when you've contemplated really, really strongly, really over and over again, the first two noble truths, then usually there is a strong motivation to walk that path. See, okay, I want to see the end of that path. I want, if there is really a way out, okay, I'll do it. I walk through the fire. I had enough of suffering. I'm just joking about that, but usually those who are actually very diligent in their practice is the people who have been through a lot in their life. Right. If you have quite lots of comfort, then usually you do not have to look after something else if you are contented with your life. This is those four noble truths. So it's like 4 lines of teaching. And I would say if you would have to remember some things would be those 4 truths. And contemplate them in everything you do. At the beginning, yes. And the Buddha didn't really conceptualize this or didn't really think about them. He saw them directly in during his own practice, his own contemplation, trying to find the way out of suffering, the way out of the cycle of renewed existence. So I know that one can expect from the teacher to be to give more explanation about, oh yeah, but what is it, this craving for existence? Maybe if I had a clear definition where to look at, what to, how it's characterized, then maybe I would understand more and so on, but just look inside. When suffering arises, where is that desire? There is usually a strong, desire for sensual pleasure, but desire to identify with something. It goes until identification with awareness. And we like those. Say, okay, maybe my ego mind will disappear, dissolve, but there would still be awareness. I can still identify with it. Or, oh yeah, I know that I am behind all of this, all of that, I'm all love. So you will identify with the idea of love. Or the identification with consciousness, with anything that you can attach to, cling to, as me, mine, myself. Yes. Yes, of course, also craving to be will be when there will be a strong in its a strong affirmation around me, mine, myself. Yeah, this might be a clue about craving for existence. Yes. All right, that was today's talk. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or you can go.